Hello everyone, this is Shane Walton at Lefty Guitars. Well, today's actually Lefty Basses, I guess. And we're talking about my Pokémon left-handed bass that I picked up for 13 cents. Now, in my last video, which turned out to be very popular by my standards anyways, got 9,000 views so far and counting. I talked about how I managed to go on Yahoo auctions in Japan and buy this bass guitar for 13 cents. And the focus on that video was kind of like about me buying it for so cheap. And this time I'm going to get more into this very unusual, to say the least, bass that I managed to pick up here. So now this bass is not a established brand. It's not a Fender or an Ibanez or a Schecter or anything like that. This is made by a guy who wanted to do cosplay. And the character's name in Japanese was called Homika, I guess. But in English, I guess her name was Roxie. And I really didn't know anything about this, but I got so many comments on the videos that telling me all about this Roxie character. I guess she is a gym trainer in Pokémon, like I guess Satoshi is in the video, but in her case, she specializes in poison Pokémons. Now myself, I've watched the Pokémon videos when my daughter was like 5 years old. She's 20 now, so it's been good 15 years since I ever watched a Pokemon cartoon. So I'm not quite, I remember some, but not quite all up into it there. But anyways, this bass, I guess she plays the bass whenever her Pokemon, in a band, I guess, whenever the Pokemons are fighting. Now this bass itself, it's supposed to, I guess, resemble a Pokemon character called, got a centipede type, and it's called a Scolipede? And one of the things on it is this neck here. Oh, it's so hard to get this thing into a shot. It's so massive. So this neck here is kind of like the antennae on the centipede. And then I guess this the Pokemon's like purple and black. So this whole thing's kind of a purple and black vibe, all going up and down on it here. So this bass is, as you can tell, it's huge. I'll put a little picture of it next to my Ibanez bass here, and it dwarfs it. It's I think from tip to tip, it's like 155 centimeters. It's actually bigger than your regular, I don't know, guitar box. So it's a huge thing. It's handmade, and and it's really surprising about these cosplay people. I guess they're really into making it accurate, because if I was to make up a costume, I guess a Halloween costume or a cosplay costume, and they had a bass with it, I'd probably just make a cardboard copy of it and say it is the real thing. But no, they go out and they make the actual thing. So this is a guitar. It's got a truss rod in it, in there. It's got frets, actual metal frets, and it's got a pickup, a bridge. It's got pots in it. It's got an output jack. So they actually made an actual guitar, and whether it's a good guitar or not, it's something else to put down. But like I said, this is the character here. The English name is Roxie, I guess, and she's a very popular and popular character in the Pokemon game there. Now for this bass, people want to know, first it weighs about 9.5 pounds, 4.3 kilograms. Like I said, it's a huge thing. There's no case for this, because unless you make one yourself, just too unwieldy, eh? It's unwieldy. And some people ask, what you doing? Gonna make it playing in a punk band or something like that? Well, no, I think this thing won't hold up very well. It's just a bump into things. It's already got a few scratches and dings, like worn out places on the paint, and I think just because pointy things like this just going to get worn out. That's the way it is. So it's meant to be looked at more than it's to be played. Maybe something you take out once a year, otherwise it hangs on your wall somewhere. Right? Can't hang in a guitar stand because it's way too big for a guitar stand. So it just make the whole thing fall over. It does have some problems with, like I said, like the person who made this they did fairly well job, but there are some things that first that make it like kind of unplayable, in the sense that it has no strap locks. You can't put a strap on this. And in my last video I mentioned that I thought that it didn't have a strap on it, and that the character was just kind of putting it on the ground and holding. But I guess when you look closely, she is wearing a strap, but the strap just looks kind of the same as her hair. That's why I made a mistake. I thought it was just her hair there. I didn't realize that's the strap. So there is a strap. This person who made this base didn't bother to put one in. So someone's going to put that in. The next big problem with it is that these frets have just been cut off. They haven't been rounded around. They haven't been dressed, as we said. See, nobody dressed the frets. So they stick out. They're sharp. You know, you can't really play this without probably getting some cuts, scratches onto your hands. And the biggest problem here is that the jack, it won't hold the plug. It keeps popping out. I'm wondering if the cavity, if it's not deep enough. Maybe I have to take a drill and drill a little deeper or something like that, or I need a whole new, oh, be careful there. So the plug won't stay in. So that's one big problem. It won't make a sound. Somebody have to figure out what the heck is going on there. Maybe put a different output jack into it, and then it might work. There is some dings and scratches, of course, like I said, because you know it's going to get dings and scratches. Something that's big and unwieldy it has. And so the big question is, what am I going to do with this thing? And I thought about keeping it because you know it's a great conversation piece. It's not like it costs me any money really, and it could be really kind of cool on the wall someday if I put it up. But part of me thought, you know, I'm not a really Pokémon fan. You know, I just kind of think it looks cool, totally out of context, right? It's kind of cool the way it was. And the part of me thinks is, you know, there's all these fans out there, and so many people put comments in. Well, I just die for that. And I had a few people send me emails, made offers on it. So I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it out here to somebody. They got a couple offers, and choose the best offer. How much it is, I ain't telling you. It's just the way it is. I'm going to sell it to an actual Pokemon fan and somebody who maybe wants to do cosplay like the other person did and keep the cosplay tradition alive. So once again, take care of it. I'll show you the last time here. This is going to be leaving here soon, so I'm going to miss it a little bit because I'm a little bit of... But yeah, might as well give it to somebody who likes it. Now, I don't think it'll ever really be worth much money because it is a custom-made thing. It's not any branded in any way, so it's something on the headstock. But anyways, let's take a quick look again with the camera. So, and it's heavy, and it bumps into the ceiling. So this is the bridge here. Somebody thought this looked like a Rickenbacker bridge. I'm not like sure. The strings go through here, and it's top loaded here. These are the pots there. Here is the jack, which is not working. It's got a back plate on it here, which I'm going to take off with the screws here. As you can take off the neck. This is the back of the neck, and of course the front of the neck's all purple and black here. And you got, of course, got this huge headstock, which is the biggest headstock I've ever seen in my life. Doesn't quite fit in the screen unless I go like this. You know, little cute little arrows. It's pretty metal. I don't know the Roxie character if she plays metal a lot, but Poison sounds like she's probably a good metal player. Maybe I tried to look for them. I can't really find any good YouTube videos of her playing. Maybe I have to check the anime out again. But so take care there. This called it Homnika after the actual Japanese name of the character. Take care, Roxie. Hope you enjoy your new home. Thanks for everybody who gave me supporting comments about it, and hope that gives a little better explanation about what this is here. So anyways, take care and salut.